Hey guys, and welcome to the first ever Wizards Waypoint deck tech. Today we're going to be looking at 4-color Reanimator using the new Ascent of the Worthy. This deck aims to put cards in your graveyard and then take them out, gaining the most value out of a few cards: Unburial Rites, Bonds of Revival, and Ascent of the Worthy. So let's take a look here at a couple of important cards, including lands. Phyrexian Tower is going to be very important for that early extra mana. Sacrifice a creature for 2 mana is pretty nice. So you get your guy out, he's dead, boom, 2 mana. Makes way for cards like Ascent. You get that in there, 3 drop on turn 2, bam. No, the quality's not that good. Let's try to enhance that a little bit. There we go. Alright, so let's take a look at the gameplay. Turn 1, we're going to go ahead and drop the Stitcher. This is going to start populating our graveyard. Got a couple of Ulamogs in there. Very nice for the first drop. Now we're looking for a reanimate target. One of our Ascents hit the graveyard, but we drew one. Now here's where the Phyrexian Tower gets all its value. It's going to kill off the Stitchers. Put 3 more in the graveyard. After that, we go ahead and cast the Ascent. Ascent reads that you basically pick a creature every turn, and if any of your creatures were to take damage, that one creature were to take damage. In this scenario, no creatures. Turn passes. So what we're looking for here is basically to keep our enchantment on the board. A couple more turns of the Saga, and we get Ulamog back. I like Corpse Churn. It brings back basically your Stitcher or your Mire Triton, or maybe later in the game something that you can cast from the graveyard. So like Thassa, let's take that back out because now we've got 4 mana including our blue. So now we're one more turn in. We're going to put another Mire Triton out. Couple more mill cards, and now we've hit a big mill card. Here's our Unburial Rites. Our Unburial Rites reads that it returns a creature back from the graveyard to the battlefield. It's got the flashback cost for 3 and a white, so only 4 mana return that back. And now we know our Ascent is going to bring back Ulamog with wings. Alright, so we're looking pretty good now. We've got ourselves a 10-10 indestructible and it flies. So if they're playing a flying strategy, we've got a blocker. And if they've got chump blockers, they're now moot. Okay, so that didn't go exactly the way we wanted to, but I think we're okay. We're still swinging. Still swinging with our Death Touch. We still have things in the graveyard, and we only need 1 more mana to get our Unburial Rites out. So again, we're only on a couple lands, but with a Phyrexian Tower in play and a creature in play, you can go ahead and count that as 2 mana. So we draw the land we need. Let's go ahead and pay the life. Still at 20 thanks to Myers. We're going to attack for 2. And we're going to sack that boy. And now in this scenario, we're low on cards. So we're going to take the option that will either mill us 3 cards to help our strategy and potentially hit an Ulamog for 10 damage to his life total, which can take him out, or we're going to draw 3 cards. See, the mental strain is half of the effect here. When an opponent has to choose what they're doing to either aid you or kind of use that as a mode of damage prevention, it's using up resources, their mind being the resource. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and crack this here. Let's get our island into play. We can now cast Thassas if we need to for our great return to the or enter the battlefield interactions. Take a Stitcher back, drop that in play, and we're dropping 3 more from the top. Alright, so now with enough mana in play, we can successfully cast Ulamog again. So we'll go ahead and sacrifice our Stitcher. And that's going to net us 3 more cards off the top of the library into the graveyard. Gyroot is a great target. Not only can it hit Ulamog and many other creatures, it can hit your opponent's creatures. So if they're playing Phyrexian Obliterator, their own Ulamogs, it can be pretty devastating. So we brought Ulamog back with haste. We're going to attack right away, and we're going to take him down to 1 life if he does not block. And we milled 20 cards off the top of his deck. Towers are legendary, of course, so only one of those at a time. Alright, so there goes our Ulamog. Gonna have to sacrifice him. So in this scenario, we can either drop a Thassa's for recurrence on an enter the battlefield trigger later, but we'd rather get rid of his 2/2 flyer, which can manipulate the top of our deck. Basically, he can look at the top 3, steal something, exile it, and cast it later. So it either gets rid of it for us or it becomes a utility for him, or both. So we milled again, and we've hit an Unburial Rites. Very good card to have at 4 mana. And Ever-Piercing Nickel Bolus. Discard a card. We're going to discard, of course, Reanimate target. There's only one way we can cast that card in our deck. Chromatic Lantern allows us to get the red mana we need, but 9 times out of 10 he's coming out of the graveyard. Stitcher puts 3 more in the graveyard. Additional 3 with the sacrifice. And we've got a pretty easy target here. This guy lets us play any instant or sorcery from our graveyard. We've got a haste sorcery here. So we're going to go ahead and get Bonds of Revival. We can bring anything back with haste, of course. Let's go ahead and grab this guy here. I don't think it really matters, but yep, that's game. Well, guys, that's Reanimator. It is a historic deck. I feel like it's gotten a little bit better, but if you liked the video, please like and subscribe. We're just starting out, brand new, and we'd like to hear from you. So let me know what your favorite card in the set is in the comments below, and be good to each other.